There's a ton of misinformation about the avoidant attachment style that I'd like to clear up today. One of the reasons that I even decided to focus specifically on attachment style theory is because of the confusion and the hurt that people endure while dating someone with an insecure attachment style. Anxious people can make others feel untrustworthy, not good enough. Avoidance can make people feel neglected. Let's not forget about that all insecure attachers can have a level of narcissism that's going to muddy the water completely. Now, the other reason that I decided to go this route is because I was tired of all the anxious and avoidant attachers being lumped into one bucket. We're all different, right? It's called an attachment style theory for a reason. And while it may be more accurate than a hypothesis, you still have to view everyone as being their own unique selves. And with that being said, the belief that avoidant attachers were just people who slept around and could only get close to someone during sex is only 50% truth. I can tell you that this isn't the experience for all avoidance. And from my experience, there are two types of sexual behaviors from avoidance. And I'm going to answer that question right now. Do avoidants only bond during sex? Before I get into the content, if this is your first time viewing my channel, I'm Coach Court and I've been helping people navigate relationships for over the past 18 years. If you want my help personally, the quickest way to get into contact with me is through my website at www.fruitfulseeds.com. Here are a couple comments that I've come across on the channel. Avoidants are very quick to have sex with new partners because they don't view sex as intimacy. It's very detached emotionally for them, sort of like a handshake for normal people. What about what happens when those walls come down and they start to really trust and love you? And that scares them so much that they deactivate and sabotage the relationship. Those are two very real scenarios when it comes to being in a relationship with an avoidant attacher. But I want to note something here real quick that I decided to just write down as just a quick memo about facts about what I've learned about avoidance. When it comes to sex, I've seen avoidant men get attached way faster to women, but the women not so much. I've also seen avoidant women in relationships be more open to having sex out of obligation because they felt this is what healthy relationships should look like. Then they don't necessarily bond during those sexual acts. Now, I've seen two types of avoidant sexual behaviors from my experience and from clients. The avoidants that were not sexual at all and avoidants that only wanted a sexual connection. The avoidants that prefer casual relationships or friends with benefit scenarios, these arrangements are often less emotionally investing and allow them to maintain their independence. The avoidants who enter into relationships that only want a sexual relation is usually turned off when they form some type of emotional connection. And I was told by a client that the reason that it happened for him is because when he begins to see a relationship as more of a family dynamic, like a brother or sister type of vibe, he can't remain sexually attracted. And it almost felt like he was violating someone pure and he wanted to keep viewing that person as pure. So he still would be attracted to other women. It's just that being intimate with someone really close, it turned him off. I was also told by another guy that has a dismissive avoidant attachment style that he couldn't be intimate with his partner if he had any type of grievances with that person. Like if he had an argument or even if things felt like he was being judged or criticized about his political views, then he'll shut it all the way down. And I know that sounds trivial, but the negative emotions made it physically impossible for him to have sex or even show any type of affection like he normally would. So I used an example in my past video about how an avoidant broke up with someone because they felt judged about the way they loaded the dishwasher. And honestly, that was like the straw that broke the relationship's back. There was something deeper running there that, the person just didn't pick up on. Now, as far as the avoidants who aren't sexual at all, I'm willing to bet you that they were the ones who were slow to open up sexually to begin with. You crossed the line and had sex, and then there was a drought after that. Or they withdrew emotionally shortly after you were intimate. These avoidants find it extremely difficult to sleep around, have one-night stands, or even try to juggle multiple people. They don't have any more emotional resources to give anyone else, let alone try to hide something from you. They're most likely cheating on you for Game of Thrones or extra hours at work or even World of Warcraft, but these avoidant types break the myth that they only prefer casual hookups. I like you guys to remember though that these are general patterns and not every avoidant individual behaves the same way. Attachment styles can evolve over time with self-awareness, therapy, coaching, and will help with how people connect emotionally and physically with their partners. In conclusion, avoidants actually do bond during sex. Yes, they do, but not in the same way as someone with a secure attachment style. It's a 50-50 gamble if you decide to get into a relationship with someone that's an avoidant. So I truly, like I always say, I suggest that you really weigh the pros and the cons of this relationship. take it with a grain of salt while you're intimate, while you're in the act of having sex. If they're saying things that are dopamine enriching and saying, hey, you're the best lover I've ever had, or I've never experienced this, or any of those type of things, take that with a grain of salt. You're in the moment, because usually what happens is after that moment passes, you'll see a pullback, you'll see a withdrawal, and you'll start to see that they kind of thinks to themselves, they reflect on themselves like, I think I was a little bit too open, a little bit too vulnerable in that moment. So that's when you'll see that a pullback. When you see, you guys have this beautiful weekend together, and all of a sudden, you don't hear from them until Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, this is a very real concern if you're continuing a relationship with an avoidant or you're entering one with one. So if you found this video of any value, please like, comment, and share. You can reach out to me on my social media accounts. Instagram is I am Coach Court. There is a fake TikTok going around, and I want you guys to know that I.am.coachcourt is the actual, real, authentic Coach Court TikTok account. And you can find me right here on YouTube, which is Coach Court. Thank you, guys. And always remember, when you go be loved, you'll never have to find it. Namaste.